9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. 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 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11. Roger, Tower.
Welcome to the Alien Probe Podcast. It's Saturday, January 13th, 2024. I'm Doug. This is Matt, and we have Nancy Thames. Did I pronounce that correctly, Nancy?
Thames, like the Thames River.
Thames. I knew I was going to get it wrong. That's one thing just for the show. I always try to ask, and I didn't.
Yeah.
Thames.
No problem.
Okay, we got it. Nancy Thames is a former Department of Defense employee and lifelong contactee of extraterrestrial beings, has emerged as a significant voice in the realm of alien disclosure and spiritual awakening. Her journey is marked by personal struggles transformed profoundly through her continuous extraterrestrial encounters. That is amazing.
Yep. Yes.
Tell us about about a little bit. I told somewhat about yourself. What else are you all about there, Nancy?
Well, I am a lifelong contactee, meaning that from the minute I was born into this world, everything, they have groomed me into the human being, Nancy Thames, who I am today. And who I am today is the significant part of everything that's happened to me. Everything in my life, there has been a significant reason for it. It was a lesson to learn, and I've learned a lot about myself, who I am within, spiritually who I am, and a lot about our human experience as human beings and who we are within our inner selves, and who we are and why we are here, and our purpose and place in the universe. So this started for me. My earliest recollections are around 2 or 3 years old, and these were playful visitations, and I was not scared. I had not learned of anything to be scared, so it was very fun and it was just fun and very eventful, learning information and experiences. So as I got older, as we get older, once we start reading and we start watching television, all of the social aspects around us start to influence our thinking and our beliefs. So things start to change because of the world around us, our perception of what we are told we are supposed to believe. So my visitations went from playful and fun to becoming a scared young girl approaching her teens that was scared to get up and walk to the bathroom at night, of afraid of what I might encounter, and not understanding if what was happening to me was good, bad, or generally just not understanding. And I had no one to talk to. When I would mention something of something happening to me, my family or my parents would just say, that was a bad dream. Go back to bed. Don't dwell on it. It's just a bad dream. It is not real. So I learned very quickly to suppress these things that were going on in my life because nobody wanted to talk about these things. And my parents told me, you cannot talk about these kind of things at school or to other family members or in public general. And I later found out, just by just kind of bringing up a topic of similarity, and people would roll their eyes. And so I learned to suppress these things and keep it within inside. And at the whole time I was doing that, this was disturbing my inner self of not understanding, who am I? Why is this happening to me? What is the purpose? What is the reason? Am I crazy? Am I sane? Etc. So as I began to get older, and I married, and I had children of my own, and these things continued to happen, I started having more conscious contact with the extraterrestrials and the interdimensional beings. And what they were doing, I realize now, being older, is that they were texting to see mentally how I was handling this. You know, am I, how close I am to understanding these things, and when am I going to want more contact? When am I going to ask them more questions? So it all evolved into this point to where in my late 20s, early 30s, I said, and I drew a circle around me and I sat and meditated and I said, I want to know why these things are happening to me. What is this happening to me? When they would come to get me, I would be laying in a bed and I would feel their presence, and I would feel my covers being pulled off of me, and then I would keep my eyes closed and I would feel my body vibrating from head to toe, toe to head, for a period of time. And then over a period of time of this happening, still consciously awake with my eyes closed, I would start to feel my body lift up off the bed. So at this point, I would open my eyes and look. And I was physically looking down at an empty bed. This wasn't a out of body experience. This was not a dream or any. This was a physical thing happening to me. And so at times I would look over and realize I was holding the hand of what I now know is a female gray that has been bonded with me all my life. And I will explain all this in a little bit. But what I didn't understand is when I would look to see who I was with, and a lot of times I refused to look, but I would realize that I was going through the ceiling or a window or a door, things that a physical human cannot do. So this was very disturbing to me. So when I was made my circle and I was sitting there, and they came to get me and they took me before a group of elders, is what they were called. And these elders were interdimensional beings, all of different races and of probably different dimensions. And they told me that before my birth here as a human, that I had made an agreement, but to be here at this pivotal moment in humanity's time, to be here to help assist them to understand the extraterrestrial and interdimensional presence in our life, the clear up a lot of misinformation, and also to help people to understand their agenda and the purpose and the meaning of all this and why it's happening now and what it means to humanity. So I looked at them and I said, I do not remember making any agreements about anything like this.
Yeah.
And so they showed me a vision. They showed me a vision of myself, and I was in a etheric, non-physical being, but I knew it was me. I could feel and could sense that it was me. And they were coming to me and saying, okay, it's time for you to go into your human experience. And when you wake up, it will be a long period of time before you remember these things, and we will be visiting you to help you. So okay. So I was like, okay, okay. So I was like, all right. So I still did not really have anybody to talk to or communicate about these things. Living where I do in Mississippi, this is a Bible Belt, and this is not things that you would talk about to a pastor or to even a mental therapist, because
Yeah.
from what I had been told, people were institutionalized
Right.
Yes.
talking
Right.
about things like
Absolutely.
this. So
Scary.
again, I suppressed it, and it was something eating at my soul, trying to understand all this. So then, as it progressed, I was a mother. I became a mother, and I had two sons. And we were vacationing, my ex husband and my two sons. My ex husband and I were in one bed, and my children were in another bed. And we were at the Marriott Hotel on the beach at Key West. And all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, I sensed their presence again. And I raised up and looked, And these were not the same grays that come from me. Grays always travel in threes, but these were different. These three were short, about 3 foot tall, and they were wearing robes, dark robes with high collars. And one walked up to me, took his hand on my left hand side and pressed me down back to the bed and telepathically said, "This is not about you. Go to sleep." And he put me in a sleep paralysis. So I didn't immediately go to sleep, but I was in a sleep paralysis. I could not speak. I could not move. I could not raise up or do anything. But I saw them go around and get my two sons. And so I saw their first that I knew of, that they allowed me to see, of their experience with these grays, who I've never seen personally myself. This was something totally different. So this was very upsetting to me, very personal as a mother and as a human being, because now I realize this is not just about me. This involves my children. So I went to sleep, and the next morning we all went to breakfast. And I looked at my children and I asked them, did anybody have any strange dreams or anything out of the ordinary that you'd like to talk about? And they were eating pancakes, and they looked up at me and was like, no, no.
Yeah.
And I left it alone because they didn't recollect any of it, and there's no harm done. But it did. It made me want more answers, more questions. So again, I started asking them, please give me more conscious time, because I had figured out that the more conscious I am, the better memory and the better that I can piece things together. And I realized that they were tapping me out. And when I say tapping me out, I mean they were putting me in a trance like functional state. I was fully functional, but in a trance because of my fear and anxiety of the experience. And I later learned, and they explained to me, when we feel anxiety and fears, these are emotions that are not normal to them. These are not things that they have in their lives. So they are telepathic. So when we are having an experience with them, what we feel, they feel 10 times fold the amount. And they do not like this feeling, and they do not understand it. So they will put us in a trance like fully functional, but a sedated like functional presence, so that we can have our experience with them and they can do their task, whatever the experience is involved in it, of their what they need to do and what they want us to experience, in other words. So it's just been a lifelong thing. And like I said, it's still hard to this day for me. I have longer and longer periods of consciousness, but sometimes the anxiety will overcome me, because sometimes it's just more than my brain can understand at the given moment. But now I try to remind myself, when I sense this fear, I try to talk to myself and say, whoa, we've done this before. Let's just fall into the full experience and see where it leads us. So it's just something that has, at different periods of my life, it seemed very fearful. It seemed very just a basic not understanding of any of it, to now I realize everything that happened to me, good or bad, served a purpose and was part of a grooming process of having me become who I am today. And the reason why I am here on a mission to help and assist humanity, along with the positive extraterrestrials and the interdimensionals. And I've learned many, many things. So I'll just let you ask me something if you'd like.
I have a
I'm
question.
sure there's a lot of things you'd like to ask me.
So are they of the same, is it a group? Is it many different groups? Are they what you would consider like the same faction?
There are what I call positive extraterrestrials. There are negative extraterrestrials. And when I say that, we'll clear this up. They all have souls and they all believe in a creator source, which is equivalent to what we would call our God. But the way that they perceive the creator source and the way that we do, there are no man-made religions. We have a lot of man-made things that prevents us from seeing the whole picture. So they do believe in a creator source and they have souls. So when I say there's negative and positive, they are not demonic. What I mean is the positive extraterrestrials and the interdimensionals desire for humanity to become our full potential and being the human beings that we were designed to be. And they see the uniqueness in us. And the negative extraterrestrials do not wish for us to ascend or become more intelligent or to know who we really are. They do not wish for our race as a whole, as in humanity, to realize that we are all connected and we are all one. So everything in our lives from the day that we're born, and this has been going on for a long time, they have always managed to keep us separated, keeping us division in languages, division in religions, divisions on everything. They manipulate along with fractions of elites that run and manipulate our humanity, along with cabals or black hats or whatever you want to call these different people that have manipulated us our entire lifetimes. And this has been going on for a long time to keep us separated and divided, because we are unique and we are special in the fact that we have a lot of dormant DNA genes within our DNA that lie dormant because they are suppressed. One, every time that someone in the past used a little telepathic knowledge or insight, they were deemed as demonic or satanic or however you want to put these things. And a lot of people were burned or put in mental asylums. So then it progressed to where in our social media or on our news, all these things, different people are put in our governments to, and they are used as puppets to manipulate and control us. Because once we are going through an ascension right now, we are at a evolutionary stage for humanity that has never happened before. We are becoming more intelligent, more around of our surroundings, and we realize that the things that we see in our three-dimensional world, we understand, and our scientists are revealing to us that there's things going on that we simply cannot see. But there's things going on all around us. There's life. Things are alive that we don't realize. So the negative ones, they are in control of us and they like that position of authority. But once we evolve and ascend, and with the assistance of the interdimensional and positive extraterrestrials, we will outgrow our old ways of, and we will not allow manipulation, and they will no longer be in control of us, and they will be powerless, and we will be finally to where connected and one like we're supposed to be. So I'll let you ask me something else.
Have your kids experienced this at all?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. One son is enlightened and has experiences just like I do. One is on the verge. He's early 30s and he's on his stepping stones of but we don't push this on anybody. This is everybody is on their own evolutionary or spiritual path here as a human being. Not everybody can absorb this information all at once. We're all here experiencing an experience of being human, and we evolve differently. So yes, and my son and I went the interdimensionals instigated a trip for my son and I. They wanted us to go to Mexico, down to Oaxaca, which is the southernmost state in Mexico on the Pacific side. And they wanted he and I to experience several things. One being, and they orchestrated this, and my son was, no, we were not told at the same time, but it was instrumented, and he made the arrangements and we went. And from the minute we got to the airport to the minute of our whole stay, we had face to face visitation with them every single night. And the main things that they wanted us to learn there, one was there is an indigenous tribe there called the Zapotec. The Zapotecs are an indigenous tribe, also called the people of the clouds. And this race or this culture, they were on the verge of ascension themselves, just like the Mayans, the Incas. They're as old as a civilization as them. And they were on their verge of this. But all of their younger generation basically left their traditions and culture and left them. So they are now a dying race because all of their young people were influenced by technology and materialistic things, and just they are a dying race. So they wanted us to experience meeting these people and the dynamics of what this meant. And now we are facing AI technology and many different things. We are at a pivotal moment where this technology and things are changing the course of humanity. And this is very pivotal because interdimensionals and positive extraterrestrials have seen other civilizations in the universe come to this point and moment in time. And some have not made good decisions and they have locked themselves out. Others have misused it in ways as well. So they care and love us and our planet and wish that they want to help us, not take over, not take control, but assist. But back to the Mexico thing. So they wanted us to understand technology in most cases are man-made tools, and we need to keep them as man-made tools. We do not need to let technology turn it loose and take over our lives. We need to always be and technology is fantastic and good for us, but it is a tool. Keep it as a tool. And the other thing that they wanted us to experience and understand and express to humanity is that they had us go into the forest there. It's very dense with all these pines, trees, and very, very dense. And they wanted us to understand. They took their hands out like this and they said, everything is alive. Everything is alive. Everything is connected. And what they meant is that trees are living beings, plants are living beings. Everything is a living being. Our planet is a living being. And that we are unable to see these things and realize that these things communicate and are on this planet and are connected to us. We don't see it because of being in our 3D world. But like I said, our science and technology is already telling us that they know that plants and trees communicate and they are living beings. So they wanted me to understand that our planet is a living being. And she is going through a ascension and a evolutionary change in herself. She is evolving. So they wanted us to understand their fascination is not with us completely. We are just a minute part of the whole planet. They love our planet and see it as a living being. They love our jungles, our oceans, our indigenous people, our innocent people, standbyers in countries of where they try to use weapons of mass destruction. There's a lot of innocent people that are guilty only by living in that country. So our planet, everything is alive. So they love everything on this planet more than us. They love insects, even the things that we take for granted, they love. So when we play around with weapons of technology and mass destruction, that that would wipe out the balance of the nature of Mother Earth and Mother Earth herself. And these things also ripple out into the universe. And we have a connection with that we don't understand. But we are waking up and we will understand all these things in this process. And they're here to assist us with this.
There's a theory that the NHI's, one theory out of a million, right? That the NHI's view us as just a vessel that contains a soul, nothing more. I mean, it's that.
Let me explain that to you. We are in a vessel. We are in a vessel. This is a temporary vessel. Having the human experience is the shortest experience of any being within the universe. This is a very short experience in a lifetime of longevity. This is very short. This is a temporary or a human experience vessel. When you remove this vessel, all of us, everything is a energy being, and we are all connected. So we are in a vessel, and our soul and our consciousness are not an organ of our body. When we die, our organs, everything cease to exist. Our soul and our consciousness, which is not in an organ, moves on up to creator source. And when we get up there, decisions are made, and we go before, like, probably the group of elders, or they may be called something different. I have not had this experience, but they've told me this, that we go before, and it is a decision is made on whether we have experienced everything that we needed to experience as a human. If not, we come back and we'll do another human experience. If we and they are in an agreement, the elders decide, okay, you've experienced all that you needed for your spiritual growth and your, spiritual path, then you could choose to be an animal, or you could choose to be a extraterrestrial or interdimensional being on a different planet or universe, whatever. Or when you get to a certain point, you decide that you just want to stay in your non-physical, etheric being and reside in what we call, and you have to understand a lot of things that what we call is not necessarily what it's called with them. But in our highest dimension, the 12th dimension is the highest that we know of, but we would reside in the highest dimension up around creator source, and we can stay there as long as we like. And there is no end and there is no beginning. The universe is infinite, and there is no ending or beginning. And you can stay there as long as you want, or you can come down and do other experiences. And so they have no reason to take our souls, and they cannot take our souls. Our souls are ours. They belong to us. No one can take your soul. Your soul moves from this place to another place to have a new experience in a different life or a different existence somewhere else.
Another theory is that they admire us with our souls and that they don't have souls.
They do have souls.
Do they? Okay.
Yes, they have souls, and they believe in creator source. That is not what is unique about us. What is unique about us is that we can become interdimensional beings. And the lower realm extraterrestrials, the ones that come from our solar system, so like one race, grays or reptilians, Anunnaki, the ones that are from, I don't even know if the Anunnaki are actually from our solar system, because Nebaru, I think, only comes around ever so often.
Right.
But the ones that come from our solar system are not interdimensional and cannot become interdimensional. So we are unique, and we are going to learn that all these hidden attributes of our DNA are going to start activating, and we are going to realize we can become interdimensional beings with the assistance of the interdimensionals, and the positive extraterrestrials get to travel and experience these things because they are in agreement with the interdimensionals, and they get to experience these things, but on their own they would not be able to do it. So that's another thing why they want to, these lower rim extraterrestrials, one naughty race of grays. There's many different races, over 60 different races of grays of different heights, colors, and there's one negative race of grays that works with, and there's many different races of reptilians. I have met a good positive reptilian. Not, you can't label one bad group as in like naming one bad apple describes all the varieties of apples.
Right.
Extraterrestrials and well, extraterrestrials are this way. There's one naughty race of reptilians, one naughty race of grays that have worked with different fractions of our government and have worked with the very elite ones that want to keep us dumbed down and that keeps them in control and in authority, and they hold power over us. So they do not want us to ascend. They do not want the interdimensionals to enlighten us and the positive extraterrestrials to enlighten us because they lose control. And we will learn that we've been manipulated and played like a puppet. We will learn that we will no longer live in these old ways of thinking and old ways of living. And we will realize that we are not alone in the universe. We will realize we're not the smartest apple on the tree. There are many other apples. These, what we're dealing with here is not about these strange things in the sky. What we're looking at here is a spiritual evolution of humanity. We are looking at becoming better human beings with enlightened purposes and finally receiving the answers as of who we are, who we can become, why we were lied to, how it has prevented us into becoming who we are capable of being. So this is very pivotal. And that is why the interdimensionals and the positives are here. And that is why all these negatives, once they knew, it's been years ago, but I saw a feed on the International Space Station. Once the interdimensional and positive extraterrestrials said, hey, humanity is at this awakening moment, they are ready. They will understand that we are not gods. We are not angels. We are of a higher intellectual intelligence. We are higher in technology and of evolution, and we can come down and have this intervention with them. And they told all these negative extraterrestrials and beings, get out of the way, get out of the way. We are here. Things are going to change. And I saw footage of all these vessels leaving Earth. And that is why, because they most know they cannot compete with this technology and this power, and it is a big number. They cannot compete with this. There are some still here, and that's why you see, like, right when disclosure and all this is coming out, then this war is created. All these things are to take our minds off things, pull us apart, keep us separated, keep ours off of real pictures, but keep us distractions. So they know their days are limited, and some are trying every way in the world to put as enough fear and negative information out here to keep us in fear. Fear is what limits us from true knowledge. Misinformation is what limits us from true knowledge. So we have to come to a realization that we have been manipulated for far too long. And it's time for us to accept assistance, not a takeover, not anything, simple assistance. And they can be of grave importance to us as we continue on, because we are the stepping stones for our future generations, our grandchildren's children. We are the stepping stones, and it cannot happen overnight, but it has to start somewhere, and the time is now. It is time for disclosure, and it is time for us to wake up and become the human beings we were meant to be.
Have your kids? How do they accept this? Are they accepting this? And
Absolutely. My
how?
son is the one that buys all this technology so that I can put this information out here.
Nice.
Um, we we are very connected, and I have also, one thing I didn't tell you is that they have come to realize, and what they have told me, I was an extraterrestrial before I came here. I was an interdimensional being. So I made a choice, and my children did the same thing. They made a choice to be here at this time. Uh, we all are on different paths and have different functions in this. And for my son, my oldest son, he feels he's got his own agendas that that he's supposed to do, but he's also here to assist me. So it's a family thing. It really is.
Nice.
And we were extraterrestrials. I firmly know we were extraterrestrials before we came here, and this is what we're here for.
I mean, they're in another dimension. Are they from another planet, or is it just an interdimensional thing?
When you speak of planets and things like that, that's from a human perspective. You have to understand, we are talking about things that we cannot see, things beyond our perception. We are talking about dimensions that are all around us that we visibly can't see. But they are here, and they're happening all around us. So when you ask me where they're from, it's hard for me to answer that question, because even in our planet, when we discover something, we give it a number. Things are in
Yeah.
a number. And so where they're from, they are from our universe and probably other universes, because they can move interdimensionally. And with the positive extraterrestrials, they have given them the ability and knowledge and technology to do the same thing. So they, yes, they probably all started at a planet or somewhere, but most of them, I would say now, live in what we would call a mothership. And a lot of them live their entire lives on motherships, traversing throughout the whole universe and different galaxies all around. And from what I've been told, that our galaxy in itself is teeming with life and things going on that we just can't see with our eye. But our government and our scientists know this. And that's why they're a little unsure, because how do you explain these things to the mainstream population? How does a government in control over our populace explain these are things we do not totally understand and know? And for them to say that in front of other countries, and they don't want one country to have more information than they have. So this is a very, very hard thing this is a worldwide thing. This is a worldwide event. This is not about me. This is not about the United States. This is about humanity and the whole world. This is big. This is pivotal. So I'll let you.
Well, you mentioned interdimensional. It's funny that it's come up more and more. Even Grush, when he had his discussion, mentioned interdimensional, and it's always an option of options. That
Well,
where is everything coming from?
well, see,
Yeah,
that's the thing. We have no way of technically knowing,
yeah,
because there's so much out there. Would we even understand if they told us?
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
We only know of our galaxy. And then when we find another one, we don't know what it is or who it is. We put a number to it.
Yeah.
It's beyond our realm of knowledge.
We can barely see it.
Yeah,
we
so
need.
you have to understand, we have to accept the fact that we are not alone. We have to accept the fact we do not know everything. And I do not know everything. I've had my experiences, but I do not know everything, you know. So this is a big thing. This is big. And we have to understand they are here to assist us in this evolution. This is a evolution for humanity, a awakening of understanding who we are and our place in the universe. And they want to help us. The human experience, the way we are living our lives is not the way it was intended or should be experienced. We have a very short life. We should be living longer. There are cures for all diseases. There is technology to help us in so many things that certain fractions of government and elites have set on to keep us dumbed down because they cannot make money off intelligent, healthy human beings. They make money off puppets that are manipulated to do what they want and of a sick, unhealthy humanity. So there's a lot of reasons why they have the negatives have done this to us, but there's a lot of reasons because of our intellectual level, intelligence level of understanding and why the interdimensionals are coming now, why it didn't happen sooner. All these things can be answered, and it will, and as we evolve, this will become not so foreign sounding. It will almost seem, it's just like people say, how do you know we got into the fourth dimension? You won't physically know. Fourth dimension is not a physical place or thing. It is a higher state of consciousness. It happens. And as it happens, when it happens, it will be as if it's always been that way. If that makes any sense to you.
It does. How are you getting the word? I see you have a website, we should mention, timefordisclosure.com. Are you trying, it looks like you're trying to get the word out about all this.
Yes,
have you,
I do.
I
I do
mean,
a podcast almost every day.
Oh,
It's very tiring at times.
what's
Very,
the name of your podcast?
well, I mean, I'm on your podcast.
Oh, okay.
oh, okay.
Oh, you do a
I'm
podcast.
I'm
Okay.
on other people's
Yeah.
podcasts
Yeah.
Okay.
because
I thought you had your
you
own.
have connections and a reach that
Yeah.
I have yet to develop. So you are doing this with me. We are part of disclosure. You and I, we are part of disclosure right now. We are part of our evolution because everyone that you're connected with, I am giving them the information. So you are an extension for me. And I appreciate and adore having this opportunity because I don't have those connections.
We like getting the word out. I mean, that's
Well,
what,
I
that's
mean,
what we do.
Yeah.
You
yeah,
know,
thank you, because I wouldn't be able to do this without you, you know?
are you
So,
I'm sorry, are you at peace with this? I mean,
oh my gosh,
it's a lot to
it is. Let me
take
explain to you.
in, honestly.
All
Yeah.
my life,
Yeah.
all my life, I am 63 years old. For 50 years, I was a mess. I knew these things, but I didn't know who I was. I was struggling inside, wanting to know who I am. I've been through 2 divorces. They were not fun. I've had lots of personal struggles. And every time these things happened to me, and I thought it was just the end as I knew it, they would come to me and they would say, if this ever gets to be too much for you, you can always come home. And for a long time, that never resonated with me. But now I understand. I understand that I was an extraterrestrial and made a decision to come here. Being a human being is hard. It is the hardest experience that any being could ever. I mean, we have emotions and feelings and things that no other beings in the universe have. So that's why I was explaining to you that they actually understand the human experience by being a part of my life. And I guarantee you, I am not the only one. I feel sure, and I have been told that there's others that have incarnated here like me from different races and different beings of all positive ones have sent incarnates here for this very reason. And they know how hard it is. They know and they understand our struggles as a human being, and they want to help us change because we should be living longer lives. We should have no diseases. We should have no sickness. We should and be enjoying from our infancy all the way up to our young to seniors. We should be living longer and more enjoyable lives. And we should not be working this 9 to 5, living off paycheck to
Amen.
paycheck.
Amen.
And by the time we get to
Yep.
our retirement age, we become unhealthy a lot of
Right.
times, and we
Right.
can't
Yeah.
even enjoy that.
Yeah.
These things need to change, and they can help us with these. It is a state of learning to rethinking, and a different way of living, and a different way of thinking, and a way of living a more positive attitude on life and outlook of life. Turn off the news and all these things. That is there with the intent to keep us negative and running around with our heads chopped off. All that is done on intention. So once we recognize these things, and I always tell people, learn to become positive. Every time you have a negative thought, replace it with 2 positive thoughts. And here's the kicker. This is the thing that's pivotal is we are on a very low vibrational frequency. How we become more conscious and how we vibrate at a higher level and raise our vibrational level is becoming a more positive human being and see the beautiful things in life and not dwell on the negative things. And another thing that I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but I also learned that the whole time that they were, changing my frequency, the vibrating from head to toe and all that was changing my frequency to a higher vibrational frequency. And now when they come to see me, they don't have to do that anymore. I am naturally on a higher vibrational frequency. So when they come, then we go. They don't have to do that raising frequency thing anymore. And humanity will start to our consciousness will expand and our frequencies will raise, and we will learn to become more positive human beings. And everyone that's around someone, this frequency vibrates and it manifests around other people, and it is like it's contagious. They want to be like that, and they learn to do the same thing. So yes, I am happier than I've ever been in my whole life. I finally know who I am and my purpose and why all this happened to me. And where a lot of people have talents of painting or writing or whatever, mine is this. Mine is this purpose to help humanity and the best I can and get information out there.
Sounds like church.
It's
It
not
really
a
does. Sounds
it's
like
not a
church. Very
It's not
positive.
church, though.
Yeah, but it
Also,
sounds like, I don't want to say it sounds like church in the physical
to me,
sense,
when you
but the
say church, that is
spiritual.
all, to me, I see it as lies,
Yeah.
misunderstandings, change, rewritten verses by a man to fit that king or that person that was in power at that time. It is not the true meanings of the beginning. And so this is not a church. This is a spiritual
Yeah.
awakening of understanding who we are.
That's kind of how I meant it, the spiritual
Yeah.
sense of
Yeah.
not the physical sense of the church, but the word.
Right.
The word. Yeah, I mean, you're getting the word out. And have you had feedback? You've had these podcasts. And what I do is when I do these, people will, through Rumble or YouTube, however, they'll give me notes back that I have that same experience and they want to get in touch with the other people. I mean, is that okay? Can I give you their
Totally.
information?
Yes. My website is timeforthedisclosure.com, and
Right.
it's also linked to my Facebook group. I have a Facebook group. It's called Time for Disclosure / We Have Never Been Alone, and it is open to the public. And it is both my website and the Facebook page has forums where people can join and discuss their experiences, share information. I put out information for people because the next thing that I think is important, and they expressed to me, is that after disclosure, we need something set and prepared for humanity, the people that will be crushed by this information, the people that have grew up with these virtues and values, and a lot of things are going to be crushed in their realization. So
Yeah.
we need to have
Like,
mental health therapists need to be prepared, and meetings, group meetings, and et cetera, need to be in place, and they need to be educated now so that when this happens, we are prepared.
Okay,
Because this is a worldwide thing, and this is not about me or about anybody. This is about humanity of the world.
it's like aftercare.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's just as important as what I'm saying now.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, we need to be prepared for this.
Yes.
You know, I mean, for us, it would probably not be as because we're involved
No, I've been
in
ready.
the subject
I've
every
been
day.
ready.
Yeah, we're ready. I don't know if I would come back to Earth, Nancy. I think,
Everybody
I mean,
says
it's
that.
lovely and it's beautiful here, but it isn't all beautiful here. There's a lot of negativity. I mean, every day you're just bombed
Yes.
with, negative. The war,
Well,
we're
hopefully
war.
we can change that for our future generation.
Right. Exactly. Make it
You know.
positive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too bad they can't change us being so violent and,
Well,
things.
we are here on free will.
Yeah.
So there's limitations as to what they can do. So they look at us like children. When your children make a mistake, they have to suffer the consequences of them, and they have to learn from their mistakes. So that's how they see us. We have to learn. They cannot fix all our problems.
Right.
We have an intelligent brain, and let's put it to use. Let's use our gifts that we have. So, but they can assist us and help us, because the doors are opening up to new technology, and we need to make the right decisions for these things.
Well, with the artificial intelligence and things that's coming out now, it's kind of scary. I mean, we don't know where this
It
thing's
could
headed.
be.
It could be.
And if we're led in the wrong path, it could be detrimental. So we need assistance from from beings that are millions of years ahead of us in this knowledge and technology and evolution, and they've seen and experienced this many, many times.
If we use it for good, it'll be amazing. If we
That's right.
we use it for bad, that's going to be
different.
horrific.
Yeah, but that's what we do.
Right.
We make machines
Sometimes.
that do bad
A lot of
things.
things need to change. And
Exactly.
Like I said, we can't do these things overnight, but
Yeah.
this is a start. And
That's right.
This is the beginning of it.
Yeah.
And we're just beginning, so yeah.
That's awesome. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, Nancy.
Okay.
We appreciate it. And thanks for listening to the Alien Probe podcast. We welcome questions, comments, or requests to alienprobepodcast@gmail.com. Visit us on Facebook. Check out our website, alienprobe.net. Rumble. We're on Rumble now, so everybody checks out on Rumble and YouTube. Twitter and Instagram at Alien Probe Pod. Nancy Thames, thank you very much.
Thank you
It's
for
been
having me.
very informative, and
Thank you.
we're going to get the word out. So
Thank you very much. I do appreciate that.
Okay, have a great day.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.